don't know me very well, but Cindy Egan will attest to that. Very rarely in my lifetime.
Absolutely.
No. So. All right, so we've got Carl, we know Carl and we know Donna's on, so we've got, of course, Mark here to keep us in line. What'd you say? Perfection of being a pain in the ass? We're going with. There we go. All right, ready to start there, Mr. Town Manager.
You're live, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, welcome to the comprehensive plan meeting. We're at 5:03 p.m. We shall commence. Call the meeting to order. And we have in attendance 4 members, Steve, Wendy, Cindy, and myself. And then, of course, our town manager and, of course, our code enforcement officer and esteemed members of the public. Believe it or not, limited to Mark and whoever's on Zoom. So we do have a quorum with 4, and none of the topics we have tonight, I received any notice that there was a conflict of interest. So let's review the minutes that Cindy provided. Not Cindy, Wendy provided for the last meeting. Any questions on those?
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for February 26, 2024.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Motion carries 4-0. Any other adjustments to the agenda or anything?
No.
Good. Old business. We have an update on that. There was 97 electronic participants. There was 2 handwritten. Did the handwritten get put into the loaded into the system, and did we get things redacted?
I did that before it was closed out. Yeah.
Okay, and did that get redacted? The analysis on that? Remember, we were gonna try to say if there was 2 or 3 similar answers, try to combine them. You were gonna check if the software allowed that.
That did not happen.
Okay, no problem. All right, great. Donna working on the draft, which we have updates on that to go over today. And then she did submit to us her deliverables. Okay. And so why don't we dive into that next?
Sure. I submitted my edits to Donna directly before I left, but I have a red line version of what I sent. So if you want to talk about some edits, I'm happy to do that.
I think, yeah, let's just kind of, everyone give kind of their thoughts, and then we can dive into the grammatical or anything there. Kind of let's go with a 10,000-foot view, and then we can go further. Start with Steve. Any comments, concerns?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I guess in the background, the initial background statement. Yeah, it talks about the plan is divided by a variety of chapters. Are these the actual names of those chapters? That's what I was wondering about, because there's no mention there of community health, or I assume that's going to be a category. But so I didn't know if those, she says the plan is divided.
Page
by
7
chapters.
is community health listed.
I'm looking at the background information,
It's
the
on page
page
1 on
2.
introduction,
Yeah,
right here.
introductions, background information, second paragraph. Talks about the plan is divided into a variety of chapters, including, and then it goes on to mention. My question was whether those were the actual chapters in the plan, or is that?
That needs to be updated because climate change is like a mandated state requirement for new comp plans now. So we need to update the categories there.
I think you could say, we could fix that pretty easy to say, including but not limited to.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
I mean, do we really want to list all 20 in there? I guess.
Well,
Well,
best
she's
statement
got
would be
climate
She's got
change
climate
down below.
change, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I'm just-
obviously she's missing she did a list in the vision part, so it looks like she's missing.
I was just.
Right after public
suggest-
infrastructure, I don't see that one there either.
Yeah, I was just suggesting those, in that statement, those should be specifically what the chapters are.
Mhm.
Because why would you say the plan is divided into this without listing specifically those chapters that would be covered.
And we're missing community health. so-
Right, community
okay.
health is not. in there.
Well, you're missing a few.
Right, so I think that just needs to be worked.
Well, the question is, do we really need to list them all there if we're gonna list them later in 3 other places?
She wrote it, I'm just reacting to the.
Yeah, I guess that's the question.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, to me. Yeah, we'll keep going. Is there anything else? Steve? Initial
Well,
thoughts?
there's some of it's editing issues.
Yeah, but I mean, like from a 10,000-foot view. before we
Yeah,
get into
well, the only other thing I
grammatical.
would say is that, well, yeah, again, so there is a duplicate paragraph, so that's.
Yeah,
that'll be
I saw
edited
that
out, Yeah. And, let's see. No, I know, I just would go back to the intro one more time. In the actual intro, the first statement, it talks about the organizations that looked at this, and it's used by town officials, boards, committees, organizations, obtain period. There was something about not lacking business owners that weren't mentioned in this. The committee listened to many year-round and seasonal residents, visitors, nonprofit organizations, and other stakeholders. I would say that business owners should be in that, because we're actually gonna have a meeting of business owners coming up. So I think that should be specified, because it's not there.
I agree.
Okay,
Yeah, that was really all I had at this stage.
all right. Wendy? 10,000 view?
From way up high, there are editing things for sure. I caught that duplicate paragraph as well. Under current trends, I think that whole area needs to be updated. I found that the writing was outdated and it's cumbersome to get through. And, you know, hopefully we can update that when we have AvCog's contribution to this plan too. Farther down on that second page, the first paragraph that starts off with Rangeley's economy continues. I think that all needs to be updated too. Let's see. Yeah, I just kept typing in rework all this. It's just
Right.
really out of date. That Rangeley I converted it to Word too, so I could redline it. So I just kept picking up Rangeley comp plan adopted. I would say. Yeah, wordsmithing. And then under community health, I know that you don't want to drill down into minutia in this opening segment, but I wonder, because we are specifying some things, it's pretty obvious that a lot of people are interested in pursuing avenues to obtain a pharmacy in town. I don't know if that should be said here, but it just kind of piqued my curiosity. And beyond that, it's just updating the data and the way that it's written. And I would again reiterate that this is not a vision statement, it's a vision introduction, you know, and if you want to call it a statement, I don't know if that's the right thing. It's really, it's like a preamble.
Yeah, which is why I would resist getting too specific in here, you know, such as the pharmacy language. I'm just really being, it's needed, no doubt about it. I mean, but after reading Donna's article, knowing what we've been through over the last 20 some odd years, when I moved here, there was a pharmacy, you know, and then there was another pharmacy. But I just think our role in perhaps identifying, you know, later on in the plan, there are just certain things out of our control.
Well, I think the way that we could say it, and I agree with you, this is not supposed to be a directive, it's not supposed to be a must. This is supposed to be, the town of Rangeley should consider avenues to explore the possibility of getting, pharmacy access up here, and that could look like a pharmacy. It could look like the EMTs carrying something like that, because some rural communities are doing that. But maybe what that would do, if it was in the plan, it would give directive to whatever board of selectmen we have in the future. It could be 5 years out, I don't know, to say, geez, you know what, let's get a committee together to really drill down and look at some options and go interview some other communities to get some ideas.
Yeah, I think Cindy makes a fair point though about the specificity of that.
I agree
So I
with
think the
that.
language is the
I
question.
would just avoid putting it in the intro, just for the sake of, it is a collaborative effort
Mhm.
with the health center board, or with, it's, I
Yeah,
just don't wanna
because
set us up for
the
failure.
reality is that that whole paragraph should be worked, because really the only thing it's talking about is a community health assessment, which is the thing that
Yes.
Joe brought forward, which is great.
It's great,
But
yes.
that's like the only element of the plan, and that's probably,
Well, I think
not.
all good thoughts. I guess the thing for me is that everything that I've worked with and done with comp plans over the past 20 years, that they're supposed to be designed to not date themselves as soon as they exist. So to me, I struggle a little bit with loading any data points in. I mean, I get the current trends part, but if we're gonna do that, I would suggest the current trends gets moved to the absolute end and say current trends as of 2024. Just be very clear on it.
I like that, because then you could keep reusing the beginning over and over for subsequent
Well,
plans if it was
yes.
broad enough.
I would really, to me, I don't like the way the plan reads from the 12. That part, I feel like it's too meaty there. It's not. To me, it's more of a forward than an introduction.
Exactly.
And I think if we can work on that a little bit, it might seem like 2 steps back, but I think it will give us 3 steps forward, because I'd like that first 2 or 3 pages to be able to sit and exist in perpetuity. And then we can say, what I'd like to do is capture the stuff from 2012 and put in, and then based on the 12 plan, this is where we were at. And this is where we are for the 2024 update there, because I think that would be helpful to the folks who work on this in 2029 or 2030. I don't want to tear down the statues, so to speak. Does that make sense?
No, it does.
Because why lose the historical context? Because there's some important stuff that existed. The group before us did quite a bit of work, a lot of work, and I don't want to just throw that away.
Right.
But I also want to make sure we're building a document that's going to be a working document to go forward. And I'm often, as Cindy's seen, I've done that in the past, and Wendy's seen it recently, is that when you're working ordinances, all that stuff, I'm very big about removing information and referencing state statute or those pieces, because that way, if things change, we're not having to go rework our piece. So,
Well, especially because we don't have a charter either.
right.
Yeah.
And so to me, even though it may take us longer to get through this section, and I don't want to frustrate Donna with that. Hi, Donna, looks like you're there. I really think, I don't know how you guys feel. How do you feel about that? I feel like the intro should be a little bit more trimmed up, and then I also feel like we should just at least reference the 12 stuff at the end,
Right.
and then the 24 trends.
What
that
you're
we're
talking
seeing.
about is almost like a segue from the past plan to the current plan.
Right.
Like, sort of a way to slide better into this.
Right.
I think it'll justify if we do any other adjustments in the plan that we can reference and say,
Yes.
as we talked about in the intro,
Right.
because of these trends that we've outlined in the intro, this is why we're making the changes.
Right.
It justifies it.
Yeah.
And I get nervous, as Cindy's mentioned too, is with any data points that are there, because data changes.
Mhm.
And so to me, I feel like we should avoid that in our introduction forward, that part there. And I'm not opposed to the idea of trying to redact the vision down to a paragraph, and then the next couple pages could kind of embellish about expanding on that based on where we think we're going.
Do you want us to take stabs at it and bring product in and then we can all hash it out?
I think that might be helpful, and I feel like almost this part, we really can't finalize until we've done some more of these meetings.
You always write the intro last.
That's what I look at. it as.
Yes.
That's true.
I think that was my major issue just with this after 10,000, you know, it's like we've just started. You know, our business owners, our public, our residents are, we're the vehicle to listen to them and to get direction. So I think that was kind of mine.
I mean, I think we all feel very good stab at it, Donna, very good stab at it. But I really feel like I wanna set this aside a little bit until we get some more of these other things, and I also wanna kind of focus on trying to get this, the vision part there, and then kind of just an expanded forward that kind of outlines. I feel like if you ever do that with a book, if you ever read like a book or a novel, or if you, I like to read historical books, and often there'll be a forward or something that's added with the next edition that says, this is where things have expanded, or this is where things have changed. Right.
Excuse me. I do have one more comment. I agree with everything I've heard so far. I think on the current trends, we use the phrase average seasonal population. I think we need to consider ourselves a 4-season town. We're no longer a seasonal town. Any time of the year, you can't find parking anywhere downtown, whether it's winter, spring, summer, or fall. So I think we really need to think about not using the word average seasonal population, because we really are a 4-season town.
The only caveat I think with that is, I don't disagree with you there, COVID definitely changed that. But historically, yeah, I mean, historically, we have an influx that comes in. We still do, of what I call the snowbirds, the May and June come in, and then leave September, October. There still is a mass of that group that does exist that way, that aren't here for 6 months.
I think the business.
But I think we're building more of less of a seasonal bit.
Yeah.
It used to be a lot more, like you couldn't find. It was a ghost town from when the trails in the mountain closed to the 1st of June. And it's not so much, everybody says there's really no break anymore.
No, there isn't.
That was the point I was going to make, is I think what I've heard so far from businesses and is the fact that, they don't make all their money during the 3 or 4 months during the summer anymore. It is more of a year-round need for steady help, reliable workforce and I would expect we hear that, during our business discussions.
And to that point, and this may be not the venue yet to discuss that, but to both of you Breck's points, is maybe the statement about what Rangeley is also ought to be looked at too, because there is no seasonality. We've identified over the next 10 years that it isn't going to be a seasonal type of historic background. It's different now. So maybe that has to be expressed somehow in the next 10 years.
I think taking a stab at and this is really directly from the 2012 plan. There's a little bit of editing, that's about it, but to condense it down afterwards and to take into consideration the history of Rangeley and then the recent history in terms of how the comp plan had worked, because going through the actionable steps, Rangeley accomplished a lot of those things. And there's some of them that are outliers that are still super important. So, maybe as, a preamble, you'd say our focus is really going to be in these few areas.
What I would suggest then, because I think we all feel this whole intro vision part needs a hard rework. Simplify, slightly different direction. Why don't we do this? The original intro as it sits, 2012, we added to the appendix as what this was the original there, and we added, so it's in the file if anybody wants to look at it.
And there's also a
And then we
1990
and then
plan
we-
too, right? Isn't
Yes.
there?
And the 90 plan too. Yeah, there is a 90 plan,
Right.
and then I think
I think there are two
to me,
previous-
it's important that at least, because this is, I'm sure they spent
A long
a
time.
long time on this. I was not on that committee, but I know they spent a long time. So to me, rather than just completely discard it, is that we take it, we put it in the appendix and say this was the intro for 12, and then we do a prima facie new intro with the, I think, more redacted with the vision piece, and get away from specifics, so that my goal would be is that when they get to the 2029 or 30, when they review it again another in 5 or 6 years, they're going, yeah, there's not a lot we need to do with that because it's fitting where we're going. Not that we'll get it perfect.
You know, you could even put in one of those word arrays that we developed during the
Yeah, she's
voting
got
thing.
some
I
stuff
mean,
in there.
that would be a very interesting visual to add to the beginning, just to, you know, what people think of Rangeley, but, you know, the really overarching questions.
You know, he says.
Right.
So what's our next step with this there?
Well, I'm happy to take a stab at it and submit it, and I have very thick skin, so I don't mind edits.
So would the goal be to get it down to, instead of 7 to 3?
Or, yeah, 2
Or
and a half,
2,
yeah.
Yeah,
7 to 3, what's that? What is it?
Pages.
Oh, pages.
Yeah.
yeah, see, opposite what my law school professor used to say, right?
Yeah.
This isn't heavy enough, now it's too heavy. So is anyone opposed to that? Donna, do you have any thoughts? Wendy wants to take a shot at getting it down to 2, 2.5. We can't hear you. I think you're muted. Hold on. Still can't hear her.
Hold up signs.
Joey, you got, is the speaker on our stuff?
Yeah, it is.
You make it beep the computer, just verify. Perfect.
Sometimes with Zoom, you almost have to sign off and then sign back on.
We had that in the previous meeting, actually, where one of the folks had to log out, and log back.
That's the only way I've been on.
Donna, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Why don't you try logging out and log back in? Could be an issue.
And it's 10 PM in the Azores too. That
Right.
could be something.
Okay,
Good
so
point.
she's gonna come back. Joe, I trust you, but I'm a trust but confirm Ronald Reagan guy.
The only other point I had was, at the bottom of current trends, the data that she has there is 17 years old.
Yeah,
Yes.
that we mentioned that, yeah.
And there's a lot more data that's much more relevant.
Well, that's why I think I wanna, that's what we're talking about here, is getting all the data out of the intro and the vision, because it just sets you up for dated material.
But I think if you have a vision statement, it's a small paragraph.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
said.
And then what is all the vision part becomes almost like an intro to the new plan.
Correct.
Right.
Well, that's how I see it. It's like, to me, I see, we kick off with the vision piece.
Hmm.
And then we kind of,
And telling
do an
people
intro.
what a comprehensive plan is, I think
Right.
is super helpful, because it's not a directive, it's.
yeah, like this
just,
first
you know,
paragraph isn't bad. I mean,
No,
the
it's
first
not.
sentence, purpose is to define
Yeah.
what the people of Rangeley want in the
Mhm.
future.
She's back.
And we have to meet stakeholders. Donna, can we hear you now, maybe?
I don't know, can you hear me?
Yay, that works.
Oh, yay!
That always works
Okay.
with Zoom for some reason.
Wendy, what I was gonna say is, do you want to work on it together? It's up to you.
Yeah, I mean, is anyone opposed to Wendy and Donna trying to work something up that's more there? I trust.
Yeah.
We got plenty of stuff. It's up to you guys. We could all workshop it, or what do you want to do?
Or if someone has a really good idea, even partial idea, just bring it in, you know?
Mhm.
You can be the closer.
I'll be the closer.
Okay.
Final arbiter of language.
All right, so that, I think that puts us, we put a peg on that board for that, so I don't think we need to leave it there anymore until
No, I think
next
No,
version.
But I'd say, I'd make a recommendation when we do add this as an appendage to the comp plan, that we clean up the grammar in it, because there's some mistakes, you know.
Well, I'd rather just leave it the way it is and just say this is what was in the
Nipples
12
and
plan.
all. okay.
Yeah, yeah, just so that one can't come back and say that we,
Screwed it up.
well, you're talking to the guy who sat through, we had to, when I was in law school, we went and watched the Maine Supreme Court hearing where they talked about a insured or an insured, and that was fought over one letter.
Oh,
So I would rather not touch their stuff and just say
that's how.
there, if you're concerned about the grammatic part, we can put open paren, sick, unparen,
Yeah.
sick, to document it if you'd like.
A insured over an insured.
Yeah. It's, yeah,
Got your money's worth out of that. so.
yeah, so I'm a big fan of, if we list in the appendix, we just say this is what they have, all grammatical words and all.
Okay.
But I think it should be listed in there, and were we able to get, and that's my remiss, I haven't double checked my email lately. Did we get a copy of the 1990 scan?
It has not been scanned in.
Okay.
No, it's still on my desk.
Can we,
Courtesy of the person who lent it to me. Hopefully he's okay if I keep it for a little while.
You have the 87 one
I
also.
have both of them. They haven't been
can we get those digitized in the next month, Joe?
scanned. I will work on that.
The 87 is brief, so, but it has a nice vision statement, I thought.
All right, well, that might be helpful to you.
So 87, and what was the year of the
98.
98?
98.
Okay, thank you.
So those two would be great to look at, or at least at a minimum, get you the vision statements to look at.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Cool.
all right, we want to talk anything on the spreadsheet today?
Is that the action step?
Yeah. We can or we don't have to.
One of the things, Mr. Chairman, if I could speak,
Yeah, we got 25 minutes, right? 20 minutes. Yes, sir.
one of the things I took away from one of Donna's emails was, if there are things in the sheet that we may not have accomplished, do they still need to be on the sheet? I think that's kind of where,
I think that's our next thing to figure out what to redact.
do we need to
Mhm.
delete some of those things?
Mm.
I don't have that sheet with me.
Well, the nice thing in Google Sheets, which is there, and I don't have a problem with it, if people want to go on and start redacting, is just there's a strike through feature, which is really nice. You click the row, you go up and you hit the strike through.
Mhm.
You can still read what's there, but it's stricken through. So if anybody wants to go through and do that, and then we
Pardon
can
me,
look at that.
Are we just trying to figure out what we haven't done on the other plan,
We're-
just to say, is this still a priority? Do you still want to do this, or?
What Joe's talking about, and he can correct me, is going through the comp plan, looking at action items that have not been touched,
Gotcha, okay.
that probably never need to be touched because they're either obsolete or
You just want them to fall off, yeah,
they want them to fall off,
gotcha.
which is what we talked about way back when we started this, that was one of our goals. So if everybody can go through, and there's no wrong, because we can still unclick it, but let's go through and click all the ones we think should just go away. And do strike throughs of those.
Do you want to highlight the things that still need full attention, because some of them are ongoing?
Ongoing, that's just
Yeah.
gonna say, it might be, yeah.
Yeah, if they're ongoing, then why don't we just highlight them in yellow
Yellow, ongoing.
and then strike through for ones to go away. And we can do green as completed. And then red could be, oh, we got strike through the ones going away, or red could be
It's hard to read the red.
still need to be done but haven't been started. Would that work?
Yeah, or,
I'm colorblind, so that
why
makes it
don't, why don't we
tough for
just
me.
do like green for go, meaning we still
Yeah.
need to do them, you know?
Right. So green for go,
Blue for completed.
blue for completed. Instead of green, I like that, that's
Okay,
good.
I just have to write the minutes, so I wanna make sure I get
Yep,
this
no, that's
right.
fine, and yellow is ongoing. And strike through is going away.
Gotcha, got it,
So that's 4 things, right?
yeah.
Good, because I can tell the difference between green, yellow, and blue, so thanks, Mark, I appreciate that. Blue's a good one for colorblinders. You laughed, but when I programmed, when I did the Saddleback
was
website years
laughing.
ago, I did it all with the 6-digit hexadecimal code because I
You
couldn't
could,
tell the color.
that's grim.
And the chamber website I did that way too, it's all done in the hexadecimal.
Oh, no wonder. No kidding.
Actually, the chamber website now looks identical to what I did 10 years ago, it's pretty funny.
Mm.
They switched it back to the format that it's kind of funny. Anyways, okay, anything else in old business? So our goal is then, board, is to go through in your free time and go through the spreadsheet, mark things, there's no wrong answer. If you disagree with the color that's been put on there, you can add a column to the left or right and just say, I think it should be a different color.
Okay.
I think there's a notes section, so you can go in the notes and say, I disagree, it's yellow, it should be red or whatever,
Mhm.
so. I don't think we're gonna be all that far off amongst us. So business owner meeting. And this was the draft of that, right?
Yeah, looks good.
I think it looks fine.
Yeah.
I brought this up at the chamber board meeting. I'm taking your slot. I passed your slot to the UMaine Alumni Association. Now I'm on the chamber board.
Oh, you went on the chamber
I'm on the
board?
chamber board now.
Oh,
Yeah.
lucky you.
I know.
I did my tenure there.
Well, I'm sure you did, but
Yeah.
I brought this meeting up to the board and alerted them that we'll want.
Right, and they don't have an exec direct right now. right?
No, they,
They
well,
interviewing one.
there's one, I can't speak to it, but
Mhm.
the person's been hired.
Good.
Anyhow, what was I saying? Oh, just that I brought it up and told them that this is coming and everybody seemed pretty excited about it. So they'll send out a message, of course, to the
Okay.
chamber members announcing the meeting. I said.
What, yeah,
And that.
can I make a suggestion? Is that they've been doing these business after hours and they're starting to
Yes.
get people to show up.
Yep.
What if we did our meeting immediately before that and then it goes into business after hours after?
Sure.
That's fine by me.
What do you guys think about that?
Give it a whirl.
Find out where they're going. I don't know where they are in May for
I
that.
think Donna was talking about having the business owners like early June, or we talked about it, I guess. Early June or late May, I don't know, we don't have a date. I think those business after hours are like the second Tuesday of the month or something like that. I can't remember.
Second Wednesday.
I actually have the list.
It's actually, I think it was
Second Wednesday of the
second
month.
Wednesday of the month.
So the June meeting is at the Maine Forestry Museum. Rangeley Inn is in May. So if we wanted to have the business people at the Rangeley Inn.
That's a great
prior-
location.
I know, we could have a room there for sure.
Yeah, talk to Travis and obviously I think, Joe, is that something we have in our budget? We could rent that room? So I don't expect him to.
He might hand it over. I mean, he's the president of the chamber.
Yeah, I know, but I think it's always nice to offer.
Rangeley Inn is, that's May, you say?
It's the second Wednesday in May, so what is that? The,
That's May 8th.
Yeah, May 8th would be much better for me than June 12th. I'm not going to be able to do, but I can do May 8th.
Let's do it on May 8th then to take the.
June
suggestions.
12th doesn't work for me because I have to we have to review and solidify the vote, seal the vote from election, the 11th. for the school
So
board.
how long are we gonna allocate for this meeting since it's before another meeting? Are you trying to do a condensed meeting, like half an
I do-
hour or something?
I do 4 to 5 and then they start the after hours at like 5 or 5:30.
The document shows about an hour and a half. So it says, it talks about 10 minutes, 75 minutes, 5 minutes, that's an hour and a half.
Well,
I
can
don't
you reach out, Steve, since you're on that board and see what they think? I don't wanna rain on their parade, but if there's gonna be people there.
Yeah. Well, I
They
think,
usually start the business after hours at 5:30, so if we did 4 o'clock,
yeah,
people could come to that and it rolls right in. I actually think it might help them get more people.
I
to
was
come
just gonna
business.
say, there's an ulterior motive for the chamber too, because
Yeah.
we would invite not just chamber members, obviously the business owners, it'd be non-chamber members too. So theoretically, they're for this meeting, they stay for the business after hours, they sign up and join.
Yeah, it might
I
work
mean, that's
out.
how that would normally, hopefully work. They also have the list of non-members, so I think we can get every list of all business owners.
Great.
Well, it's pretty easy to do all the business owners, Joe, right? Get you do personal property tax bills to almost all of them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can send off of that list too. I don't care if they get 3 or 4 invitations. I'd rather.
Yeah.
We go off the tax list and go off the chambers list. Yes, Mark.
If you were looking for a shorter meeting, if you did a summary of what progress you've made, and then an overview of what you were looking to accomplish in some type of schedule, that might get them engaged and, encourage some feedback and some.
I agree. We've got 30 minutes for intro. We could definitely trim that back.
Yeah.
Could also hand out a questionnaire with this middle segment here, the open discussion, which is 75 minutes. I mean, I could answer those questions in probably 10 with a pen,
Right.
you know?
Well, and then they've got to have 25 minutes to break out for the groups to report back. I think it might be fun. I like to do these, the breakout things. So I think we allocate 90 minutes and then try to just trim a little bit down on the intro.
I agree with that.
And then kind of a little bit on the outro, and that dives into the chamber. And what actually would be cool is to do the summary and next steps, do it right at 5:30 in case people missed it. They could hear what happened at the meeting,
It's like the breakout groups, it's just the,
reporting back.
it's not in the business owner meeting.
Right, it's not. It's just open discussion in business owners.
Okay,
But I think, like you said, Wendy, having those questions available to answer by, by hand.
Right, I mean, we might as well mine for data, and then we can have a discussion. Everyone's bright enough that, in that room, you could say, geez, anything come up in the survey that you want to expound on, or you want to have questions about, that type of thing.
so we're gonna shoot for May 8th, and Steve, can you get back to Donna on that once you talk to the chamber or the group?
Yep,
Just
absolutely.
communicate to Joe.
Yep.
All right, well, let's pencil in for that, because I think that's a win, and unless Travis thinks otherwise, but
Yeah, we'll be up for it, I think.
I think.
Is there a presenter at that meeting? Do you
At the
know?
business after hours?
Yeah.
No.
No?
Usually not,
No.
Okay.
so it might work out okay.
Mhm.
Okay, so the other task we had is Wendy, you said something about the state guides for fishing, hunting, recreation, where are we at?
Yes, nobody wanted to get together for a meeting altogether. So I called a few of them that I knew, and I wrote up a little questionnaire and emailed it out. I've received probably like 4 responses back. And they're all very similar, so, and I sent a reminder email out to 2 this morning, just to see if I could get them all in. And they said, oh, I forgot, let me get back to you. So as soon as I get, I'm sure that some of them won't respond at all, but as soon as I can get the majority back, I'll get all the responses. And
Who's the head of the guides and sportsman group now?
guys, and I don't know.
Because that would be, they have a bunch of meetings in the summer, and
They have, at that Aquasic
yeah,
Anglers Club.
no, Classic Anglers
No.
Club's a different spot. They meet up on
Skiway.
Bald Mountain, on this old skiway,
Old
where the
skiway.
pond, fishing pond is. that you
Oh,
can-
yeah, I've
guys,
been there before for
Yeah,
Cody Pond.
So there's a whole guides and sportsmen, that, to me, since you're getting okay response, but not great,
Mhm.
is that if we reached out to the guides and sportsmen and see if we could present, they're usually looking for
Do you have a
meeting
name,
criteria.
Chris?
It used to be Sherry Olam, but I don't know who it is now. Do you know, Mark?
No.
Was Sherry, right? Sherry for a lot of years.
Would Shelby know? She would know.
Susie would be, John Susie could tell
John
John
Susie
Susie.
would know. You know, John?
No, but I will
you.
soon.
Well, he's at River's Edge.
Oh,
Yeah,
I do know him. Yeah, okay,
Yeah, if you walk in there, they could probably tell you.
Yeah.
okay. Thank you.
Alright. And then the real estate professionals, I think that's an easy one we can do almost anytime.
Mhm.
And then we talked about an Aquasic meeting. You can properly make Aquasic feel Aquasic. When do we want to do that? It was May 20th is what you had scheduled tentatively. I will not be in attendance because my youngest graduates college that day in Chicago. So
Congratulations.
I made my last tuition payment last week.
Doesn't
and
that
I
feel
tell
so
you, it
good?
feels so awesome. Felt like I just got a raise.
Do
So,
you want to be there?
I don't need to be,
Okay,
I mean, like to if it works, but if not, then
The 20th of May is a selectmen's meeting.
yeah. I mean, we just penciled in, I thought we penciled in for that week.
Yeah, I think it's the week of, because that's a Monday. I don't,
My thought
is
was maybe,
Thursday a good?
what's your June look like, Donna? You said the beginning's not good, right?
The very beginning is okay, like the first week is okay, but then after, like before the 8th, I'm fine. And then at the very end,
One
I'm-
thing
I'm
we talked
fine.
about Memorial Day weekend is what? Cindy, I can't see it.
it's
Where you
the
are.
30.
The 27th.
yeah, it's, yes, so the 24th, 25th, 26th.
What about
What about June 5th,
a
Wednesday?
Friday? What about, because I feel like people show up Memorial Day weekend and then the next 2 or 3 weeks is not as many people around.
Mhm.
So what if we did it like either that Saturday, the 25th, that weekend, or the 24th, and we're not going after business owners in the Quasic, going after Quasic residents.
Mhm.
Oh, so do it on the week, do it on Memorial Day weekend then.
Well, just thinking there's a ton of people in town.
Yeah,
They're gonna be raking and
Yeah,
doing their yard work and going out for.
All right, well then I say we
runs.
kick it to July, because then that's really when people are here. Otherwise, you don't really have that crowd here.
just so that you know, I met with Larry Koob, and this was his suggestion that we do this, and his suggestion was that we get them in May before it gets too
Market's too
busy.
busy.
So
Yeah.
for what it's worth, I think there is some merit. I mean, once July and August hit, I'd like to be like doing different things than be getting out of the more data collection and into the policy development.
I mean, if we're just doing this to satisfy Larry, then let's just do it whenever, because I don't really care. Because it's Larry, Mike, and I mean, those are the ones that always want the separate Quasic. You know, we're constantly feeding.
How about the 29th or 30th of May?
Well, 29th is Memorial Day, right?
No.
Or is that day
Yeah.
after?
Or we could do the 30th, so that's after Memorial Day. It's not quite, if people stick around a little bit.
Yes,
I don't know.
I think you're onto something, Chris, there with the July thing. Larry must be thinking it's business oriented, and that's why he wants it before too many people show up, so that.
versus resident.
So the
oriented.
businesses aren't too busy.
Mhm.
But as far as getting a broad section of people that live there, you're gonna get a much better.
I mean, if you think about it, right, when does the
In
Moose Lake, McGuntick Lake,
Fishing,
they all
fishing,
meet,
all that stuff.
they all meet
That's
in
all
July
it
and
is.
August, because that's when
Right.
people are here.
That's when they.
So, I mean, I think the business one, we're gonna cover at the May 8th, and, I mean, I'm pretty close with Larry, I'm glad to talk to him and say, hey, we're thinking more trying to get residents, and I think he would agree that later, I mean,
Even if you do the last week of June, because then public school's out and.
yeah, I
people
mean,
are here,
I'm not opposed to the last week of June.
I think that's a good idea.
You know?
Yeah.
So why don't we look at, Cindy, I can't see
Oh,
past
sorry.
you. You tell me, June 20, well, there's 4 weeks, so 26 is planning board, so we could do 25th or 27th. Or do we wanna cut into July, because July 3rd is a Thursday, we could do it. July 3rd is a Wednesday, we could do it on that Monday or Tuesday of July 1st or 2nd. And that way we got a chance at a decent crowd.
I think that last Thursday in June might work. good for you.
27th, yeah.
The
People-
27th, yeah,
Let's do June 26th.
Yeah.
June 27th.
I have a question about this. is there a reason why we're doing only Aquasic at that time? Since you're trying to reach, apparently, it seems like, people that aren't here except in the summertime. Weren't they all missing in January?
Well,
too?
I'm gonna say it because it's, I don't care because it's on the record, we're gonna say it, but here's the thing, there's always this little thing whenever we work on anything that Aquasic. Because a lot of the larger taxpayers, due to the valuations on the lake down that way. Feel that they don't always get an adequate input in there, and that the village of Aquasic is an important standalone entity versus the whole county range, it's always been.
Yeah.
Aquasic range
Right,
thing.
right. I don't,
So-
I would not argue that point because I'm not of that history. of
Right,
that. But I
so,
would say that the point is we're trying to reach people that weren't, that are here in the summer. And a
So,
lot of them, Rangers got a good assortment of.
we can do a meeting, we can do one in Aquasic and we can do one in Rangeley for that piece.
Put it all together, why take all that effort?
But you can
Because
have-
nobody from Rangeley is gonna drive 7 miles out there, trust me. They don't drive out there unless it's personally in their backyard that there's a problem. When you've had select meetings out there, the only time people drive out there if they're personally affected by the issue. Am I wrong, Mark? No, so I mean, if
Yeah,
you're,
there's an
it's
8-mile
so
railroad
weird,
track
it's
between
7
the two, right?
miles.
well, you laugh, but it's true.
No, I don't laugh, I'm just being a little light on it, but I think, I don't disagree with the point, I feel like though, the people that weren't here in January are also a lot of Ranger people too,
You know what you could
and
do?
that's all I'm saying.
We could call it a meeting for the residents, and we can have one in Aquasic,
Yes.
and anyone from Rangeley can go if they want to.
It's not exclusive,
And
exactly.
then you can also do one in Rangeley and anyone
I
from
do one in,
Aquasic.
I do one in town, I do one in Aquasic.
There you
And
go.
that way you covered both.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just think
agree.
politically.
Absolutely. We're not gonna check addresses when people are walking through the door.
No.
No, we don't,
Exactly.
we don't care, but when you say there's a meeting in
Right.
Aquasic,
That's
meeting in
fine.
Rangeley.
My point
All right.
is covered by
So
that.
Thursday, June 27th, the Aquasic Comp Plan meeting,
Mm-hmm.
what time? 6?
I'd
We do
say,
6 to 8 again?
where are we
Sounds
doing
good.
it?
Yeah, where?
Fire department's the only place that's got
Oh,
room
it's
big
got
enough.
horrible acoustics in that.
Well, where do you wanna go?
Gingerbread house is empty, I can call Leon.
Well, they're renovating, I heard to do apartments, they must be in the middle of that.
We could ask, about
Is that permit,
BMC.
is that permit in yet?
Oh.
Okay. That's the scuttle,
Way to get the code enforcement officer's attention.
Oh.
that's the scuttlebutt I heard, that was the next plan. So anyways,
What about
The-
BMC? Maybe we could ask to do something there.
that's a tough that time of year, I think, because they're starting to get, they're busier,
Good
but.
training that time of year.
Actually, what isn't bad acoustics is Larry has all his boat barns cleaned out then, and since it's Larry thing, I would say we could probably do it in one of his boat setups. We did the boost drawing in there and it worked great.
Yeah.
We put the PA up, we do it tables at the end and we open it up, it works pretty good. You know, if we only get 50 or 100 people, it seems kind of small in there, but I don't think it would be that bad in there. I mean, acoustics are probably much better than the fire department.
It's also the smell in the fire department as well, and
This will just smell like 4-stroke.
I don't know how many people you're gonna get, but the guides and sportsmen.
That's- they have a-
go As well.
Yes, I.
They have that
thought
building
about
too,
that.
yeah?
yeah, that might be,
And it's nice in June, hopefully.
that's great.
I'm not opposed, I mean, somebody wanna research places.
It's like
across it.
$100 to rent it for a day.
Yeah, and then I assume we'll do we can do the Rangeley one either at the school or here, right,
Hmm.
Joe?
I can't speak for the school, Mr. Chair, but here certainly, as long as there's no.
I know a couple of people there, we might be able to work it out. School cafeteria, I thought worked well, especially with the tech.
Yeah, that's a good point.
All
What
right.
about the log church?
I thought of that too, but I don't know. what's
So
it-
they
it's like
yeah,
inside
they
there.
use it, I mean, they do have
Yeah,
services
oh,
there in July and August, but it's not used midweek. I could reach out to Tony McNaughton and see.
Alright, so Cindy, you're gonna search for the classic meeting location,
I will.
can we task you with that?
I guess so.
Thank you. And Joe, you'll work on the Rangeley location?
I think this is it.
On June 27th, this is it.
Well, June 27th, we're gonna be in Aquasic, we have to decide on the
Well, what's the
Rangeley
date?
meeting.
What's the date then?
Do we wanna do it 25th?
If Jonathan was
Or we
gonna
wanna
be
do
here
it,
for
Joe,
2 days,
what do you wanna do it?
Jonathan-
26th is planning board, so you can't do it on the 26th.
25th?
25th would be a Tuesday night. Then Donna, if you came up, she could have all day Wednesday to catch up with other people on Thursday and go. Does that work, Donna?
Okay, so we're doing, the Aquasic meeting on the 25th?
27th.
No, the Rangeley meeting on the 25th
Rangeley.
and the Aquasic on the 27th.
Oh, so we're not doing May 8th for the business.
We are.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the
May
business
8th
one.
business.
Okay,
We're trying to catch our summer resident meeting.
I'll try to capture all this in the minutes too, so.
and so 6:25 is just a follow-up Rangeley meeting?
For Rangeley residents.
Yeah.
We'll do the same agenda as the Aquasic meeting.
We're separating Rangeley from Aquasic here. It's still the same
Well, it's just
town.
two opportunities to go.
Steve, trust me, it's a good
I know,
idea.
I
You're the new kid, trust us.
Well, I like to shake it.
Yeah, all right.
Doing a good job.
Any other, all right, so that's our plan of action. Everyone works on the spreadsheet. We talked about the vision redaction, which Wendy's gonna work on with Donna, come back with some deliverables. Any other announcements? Next meeting date. I say we don't meet on the solstice, on the eclipse day,
Geez, you think?
just because everyone's worried about it. And then the 15th is Patriots Day, right?
Tax day.
Tax day, actually the 17th this year.
Yeah, so 15th is Patriots Day too.
So tax day is the 17th.
17th.
Why do you get 2 extra days?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a Boywood holiday.
Okay, birthday, 22nd. That means we're gonna go a month without a meeting. We just went a month
We
without.
got
a
some
meeting.
work.
We got some work to do.
It's work to do.
Do it,
All right, so why don't we do there, but let's try to email check-in by the 9th where people are at.
By the
How's that?
9th,
May 9th,
Yeah, so maybe you can have us a draft by the 9th, Wendy?
oh yeah,
Okay, and then meeting 4/22 at 5,
5.
okay? All right, we gotta get out of here, so can I get a motion to adjourn
Motion
at
to adjourn.
5:54? Okay, all in favor? Carries 4-0. Okay. I thought I saw Jimmy in the